Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Everton Daily Live. It is Tuesday, 26th of March, day 2 of Everton's PSR charge, hearing, whatever you want to call it. That's going on. But you know what? Swerving all of that today because I'm bored with it and I hate it. Today, we're going to start off by talking about a bit of football, which is a novelty for a football channel. To actually speak about football. Football. And I would like this to be the moving forward after this season, that we get back to just talking about football. Me and Ned had a tremendous chat yesterday on More Than a Game, talking about footballers. Wow. It was amazing, and just like old thing and Ronaldinho and all. It was brilliant. It was so enjoyable. Loads of people loved that conversation just about football. So
good, isn't it?
This is what's happening.
The beautiful game.
That's it, isn't it? This is what's happening.
We talked about it an hour this morning. That there football.
See, Tom's tried to shoehorn something in here, and now I have to say something. And I didn't want to talk about the PSR thing.
Go on then.
But what Tom said is, see Forest's fan club comments on Everton's breach being worse.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
It's a weird take, and listen, Forest fans will look at it and try to do that thing that I guess every club supporter does, is try to make your club look better than maybe what the outlook is, and how it.
KC said that ours was worse.
But it isn't, is it? In no world is it worse, because ours is 19.5 and theirs is 36, or 35. So
34.5. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. It's worse. Theirs is worse.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you dress it up. Theirs is worse. End of story.
But it does show. It does show you why barristers will say things which presumably they themselves know aren't actually right either. Because it has an impact on the judge.
Of course, yeah.
Because DeMarco said, and Everton's breach was bigger because our breach is, X and their breach is Y. And the result is we're over by 95, they're over by 124.5, therefore their breach is bigger. Therefore, you have to give us less points than they got.
Which is nonsense.
And the judge pushes back on it and then gives them less points.
Yeah. Well, we had this with the first one.
So is the way.
So, anyway, it is what it is. It's nonsense. It's all going on. The whole thing's crap. Let's ignore it. Back to football.
Yeah.
Back to football. So we've had this break. We're going into essentially what is... It's the massive cliche in football, but 10 cup finals, which is what Everton have basically got. 10 games to go. We need to get as many points on the board so that, as we've just been talking, this charge that we may well occur won't really have any dint on Everton, and then we can move forward as is. But to do that, we've got to start winning games, because like I said yesterday, Everton aren't in relegation trouble because they've had 6 points taken off them. They're in relegation trouble because they haven't won a game for 4 months. That's really that's the real talk right there, John. Real talk. But as a side to that,
is that but or and?
Whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're moving on to the next segment. As a side to that, who has been your player of the season so far for Everton? Mykolenko.
Yeah.
Vitaly Mykolenko.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the long pause was simply because I didn't sort of want it to be a segue to another conversation, but Branthwaite.
Okay, but you've gone
on balance,
Mykolenko.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Tell us why then.
Because we've stopped complaining about him being the left back.
Okay.
Maybe that's related to the rest of the team, a performance to a standard where he's no longer the problem. I think he's added a little bit of a dimension to his game going forward.
Yeah.
Not enough in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But he has added to it. And he's a solid defender. And I've never, I go all the games and he very rarely gets legged by anyone. Yeah. So he's turned himself into a competent, sounds horrible if you use the phrase, but I'll use it, average defender in the Premier League who can hold his own and is limited going forward, but not as limited as he was.
Interesting.
Be a great squad player, wouldn't he?
See, I've always been of the, and it's where probably me and Ped have had a little bit of a difference. I've always said he's a very good
defender. I agree.
He's just once you cross the halfway line, it's an issue
and
for
he's
him.
technically competent as well. Hence the goal he scored in the past.
But he's not he's not an attacking fullback, and he's not quick.
He's not minded to go forward. No. It's not in his DNA, is it?
No. So defensively, I think he's solid, and you can rely on him. And he's had some good performances up against the likes of Mohamed Salah and stuff, and he's had really good game. Bukayo Saka, he's had a good game against him and things like that. It's just the offensive side of it. So you've gone with Mykolenko, so I've gone on to SofaScore, which is a free app. Go and download it. Helps us. It's free. I know. You know what? I should have got Ned to do this, because I knew that we wanted to do this, and I don't know why I haven't
use it.
I use SofaScore.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, just because it's easy. But basically, I've gone on to SofaScore here. I'm disappointed with myself now because I knew that I was doing this and I haven't got Ned to do something which is quite basic. So this is on me, right? But Mykolenko's SofaScore rating is 6.99.
It's quite good, that.
Okay,
it's not 7, I suppose.
It's Premier League, 23 matches, 90 minutes a game. He averages, he basically completes the games, doesn't he? 2 goals. His XG is 1.46, so he's marginally outscoring it. Just having a look here. He's averaged 1 shot per game at times in the Premier League this season.
Compare him with our right back, don't we?
Just having a little look here, yeah.
Because while you're looking for...
He's averaging 57 touches a game. He's created 2 big chances. He's been involved in 7 clean sheets, 2.5 tackles a game, 1.4 interception a game. So he's at 6.99. So when you look at them numbers, he's had quite a solid season, as you would have said. Yeah, that's not bad at all. His heat map is quite clearly all down the left, as you would expect. His strengths, SofaScore have got him listed as tackling is a strength, his weakness are long balls over the top, according to them.
As a defender.
So
he doesn't turn well.
And his value in SofaScore is 29 million euros, which would be a big profit if Everton sold him. So he's had a good season. I think when you just think about trying to say that a player of the season, you just go play the season, you go, you know what, Mykolenko's probably been our best player. So that's why I was asking you. It was interesting.
That is a issue for the team.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying when you think of it, you'd go probably Mykolenko.
Yeah.
But then you'd also go Jared Branthwaite.
Indeed.
Like you said. So you think, yeah, Branthwaite's had a good season. So you'd have a look and go, all right, has he had a good season? So I've gone on to SofaScore to see whether or not what we think is right. So I think a lot of people would say Mykolenko's been the player of the season. You go into Branthwaite on SofaScore, Jared Branthwaite
he's 7-ish.
Is at 7.03.
So very close.
So according to SofaScore, he's better than Mykolenko.
They reckon he's only worth a similar amount of money as well.
Have they got a value for him?
They will have, won't they?
31 million euros.
So what's that?
So 2 million more than Mykolenko, but really is worth 70 million more than Mykolenko.
Well, it's about ceilings, isn't it?
Of course, and they just do. Their things won't be real, will they? Their values, they'll just be, this is how we
they work it
calculate it. He's had played 25 Premier League games. His average is obviously 90 minutes a game as well. Branthwaite, he's got 2 goals in the Premier League. His XG 1.43. So
very similar to me.
Yeah, it is. His score frequency 1,125 minutes amongst per goal. Shots per game.
Only once every 10 games.
Yeah, 0.03. Got a 25% conversion rate though. That God, I'm imagine if our striker had that.
Give him more chances. Yeah.
He's averaging 53 touches a game. His accurate passing's like 79% overall. 7 clean sheets, like we said. 1.6 interceptions per game. 2 tackles per game. 6 ball recoveries. And he's had a very, very 7 yellow cards. He's had an excellent season, I would say. And the reason why,
hence the
saying that, well, exactly, and he's expected to make his debut for England tonight.
Do you think he'll start?
He should do. Whether or not he does is a different thing.
Harry Maguire in the last game. My goodness.
He got injured though, and he's gone back home.
But even so, how awful was he?
No, I know, but I think what Southgate does is he just keeps the players who've played for him and who he knows how to get on. What he's going to get from them. So for me, I think Branthwaite has had a very good season. He's had arguably a better season because it's kind of like his breakout season.
It is. He'll get a young player award thing, won't he?
Well, he'll be up there, won't he? He'll get Everton's young player, yeah, but he'll get overall.
I mean. And maybe
about it.
in that sense,
but he'll be called on.
Vitali would get players player.
Maybe. Depends how the season finishes, I guess.
Course,
so, you know, I mean, what have you made of Jared Branthwaite then? Because he was obviously the second name you mentioned. You went Michalenko and then you went Branthwaite. And I think you to drop
perhaps the credit for him is when he has a bit of a flaky game or makes a mistake or gives the ball away, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking earlier on about, you know, when we were talking about your lad and what have you, that your job when you were playing was get me one-on-one with the keeper because that's a goal. Yeah. With Jared, get him one-on-one with a striker, he takes the ball off them. You know what I mean? You never think he's going to make a mistake.
Unless it was Haaland, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Look, the fact I can say.
He learned from that. And
it's the fact I can go Haaland means that
I mean, in that moment, he learns that you thinking you can nip the ball off a brute like that, who's your size and probably 2, 3, 4 stones heavier, and you're going to bounce off him, lad.
Yeah.
So
you have to be clever there. Yeah.
And at this level, against that level of player, the result of your little, and it was a little mistake.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Was a goal.
Was a goal, yeah.
So he learned from that, and the only thing that I suspect the only thing that can improve him now is playing with better players against better players. So by definition, to play against better players than he's playing against now, he has to play internationally or for a club who play in Europe. And he's what, 21? That's it, isn't it? He has to continue his development. He can keep being a Rolls Royce for Everton for another year or whatever, and we'll luxuriate in the fact that we've got him. But he probably will never be stressed.
I don't know. I think you can go and stand out for Everton by producing every single week and being comfortably the best player on the park. So then people are going, wow, we have got a top player here.
Now, there's a question there. If we were having this conversation, 7, 8, 9 years ago, would we have foreseen John Stones, who's the nearest reference we've had, morphing into a midfield player?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
because I called it at the time. Yeah. That wasn't me being clever. Well, his skill set suited sitting in front of a back.
Totally agree. Right, totally agree. And I asked him when I met him about that, and he felt he'd like it as well. Yeah, and that was just a setup for. Do you see Branthwaite change? Or he's always going to be that cool, calm, collected centre back who is good on the ball, can break the line, but he's always going to lay it off to someone.
No, for me, I think Branthwaite's a defender, but I thought Stones was much more than a defender. I didn't think he was... Martinez gave him too much licence that you see this with players, very good at something, and then the manager gives them licence to do something else, then he don't want to go back doing the thing they did. See it with Fellaini.
That's true.
Fellaini came in, took time to get used to the Premier League, then was turning into a very good defensive midfield player who would have been excellent.
And then he played up top for a bit.
And then Moyes decided to move him into where Cahill played and say, like, stay there. And then all of a sudden he didn't want to run back. And there was big evidence of this. And remember, we played Leeds in the Carabao Cup at Ellen Road. And Moyes tried to play him and Francisco Jr. as two older midfielders, and Fellaini didn't want to run back. We got beat 2-1 in the end and got knocked out, but Fellaini was dreadful because he didn't want to run the other way. And we sure it was because he'd been, and at Standard Liège, he sat in front of the back four, was outstanding against Liverpool, which is why we bought him. And you see it with other players, they get moved to a position, you go, I quite like this. And then all of a sudden they forget doing what they're doing. So I think
it's a different part of the field where you're less involved. And we had this conversation, or you did.
Give me some of that as well, because spilt me tea.
Oh yeah, again, because you did this with Cody, didn't you, when you did the inside the game thing? Where he's sort of a midfield player, or he was.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he goes backwards, and he thinks, I quite like this.
This is all right.
I don't do as much running around. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't. And the inverse works if you start as a centre back and move into midfield, because it's a 360-degree job, isn't it? Rather than a 180.
If you're good on the ball, like John Stones was, is brilliant at that,
then you can do it,
and you're strong, and then you don't have to. It isn't all about just battling. put a little bit of class into it. Then that's why John Stones, I was looking, thought he'd be great for us in front of our back. And you've seen it. Lots of plays.
England the other night.
Well, exactly. There's loads of. Listen, like I said,
centre back, I think, for England, wasn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, but because Pep allows him to step into midfield, you've got it with probably. It's like Alexander Arnold, isn't it? He's more of a midfield player than he is a right fullback. Yeah. So players do move around, but with Branthwaite, I just see him staying where he is as a quality, high classy left-sided centre back, and he can go right to the top.
As certainly I did. I don't know what you were saying at the time, but John Stones was best with a robust centre back. So someone like a Distan alongside him. Do you think Branthwaite will develop the physicality, or will he need a minder?
Well, it depends if he's going to be the... I don't know, because a lot of strikers are different now, aren't they? They're not.
The old-fashioned...
Even in the last 10 years. So John Stones...
Less there, isn't it? Yeah.
Was Everton's defender 10 years ago.
That's right, yeah.
This season was the season he was in.
That's true.
The old headband on at Newcastle, when the Banders, when we won 3-0. Yeah. That was 10 years ago, which is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
And he was in the side then with Jagielka or with Distan, but there was still robust strikers around. There's not that many around now when you look at it.
That's why
Haaland stands out.
Exceptional almost.
Adebayo at Luton, who give Branthwaite a bit of a tough afternoon.
Therefore, they come up against them less often.
Physically. Yeah. So therefore, but in general, the most centre forwards are. It's why Beto's a nuisance.
Because he's physical.
Because he's a physical player, where a lot of them are streamlined, great movements, and you have to be switched on up there. Yeah. I think Branthwaite will be fine.
Yeah.
Whoever he plays with. But it's
robust centre backs.
But it's always good having
forwards will come into vogue again.
Well, why not? If you can make classy defenders uncomfortable, why wouldn't you look like that? Yeah. Coaches should be looking to get. Never understood this. Why you cut your option of scoring goals down by removing a centre forward out your team. Yeah. So you should have two. So you have two wingers that could score, two strikers that could score 100.
By that like for like swap, which our manager is fond of, doesn't work if they're actually completely different. Without being too silly, if you just in broad brush terms, we've got Beto, who's a big physical player, and you've got Dom, who's a bit more silky, a bit more lightweight, a bit more about movement, and he takes one off and replaces them with the other.
And the team don't change.
But
the other thing as well with you, in terms of your strikers, with your goals, is your wide men. If you're going to play with one, your wide men have got to be 10 goals a season players.
Well, they've got to come from somewhere, the goals, haven't they? Yeah.
So if you haven't got that, and Everton don't have that, then you have to play two strikers, because otherwise you're cutting your goal options down. Hence why Everton have scored the third least goals in the Premier League.
Just not enough. Yeah.
So Branthwaite, he's been brilliant, and by sofa scores reckoning, he's been better than Michalenko. Now some people would say, it's Michalenko, or
5.04.
He's better.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
So then the third person.
I was going to say, right back at you. Who would the third person?
The third person out the top of my head would be James Tarkowski, who never really has a bad game.
I can get that.
I can say he never really has a bad game, and think he played very well at Old Trafford, and he gave a cheap penalty away. But very rarely for me, since he's come into Everton's team, has he ever had a bad game. So if I put Tarkowski in, and I put him in the Premier League,
we can't see this.
On sofa score, James Tarkowski, 7.33, comfortably.
So he is
comfortably
the best
Everton's best player of the season, comfortably. Yeah. And this is by an objective.
Are they the top three players? Are they on SofaScore?
They're the top three.
Oh, right, okay.
As far as I'm aware, I'll go back in and double check that.
Pickford must be scoring well.
Jordan, I'm talking about outfield. Pickford's not getting a mention. The goalie.
Yeah, is he?
7 clean sheets. Should be in double figures. Now these are outfield players.
Okay.
Tarkowski, comfortably Everton's best player. So certainly in a back three, and what we'll do is we'll do the right backs in a minute and just have a look. But Tarkowski, 7.33, 28 games, started 28 games, completed minutes per game, 90. Out of the 3 we've mentioned, he's been in the team of the week 3 times. The others haven't. He's got 1 goal this season. His XG is 2.17, so he is underperforming where the other 2 previously had overperformed. However, he has less than 1 shot a game, which is what you'd expect from our centre-back. He's got 1 assist. His XA is 1.59, so his teammates are letting him down in terms of goals. He's averaging 56.6 touches per game. He's created 4 big chances. 8 clean sheets he's been involved in. He's averaging just under 2 interceptions per game, 1.4 tackles per game. Passing accuracy 76%, and he's had 5 yellow cards. So therefore, by that definition, at the moment, James Tarkowski is Everton's player of the season of what we've done. From out the back 4, just looking, Nathan Patterson's 6.67. Coleman, Young, but he hasn't played in many games.
669.
So Young, marginally better. Seamus Coleman, 684, but hasn't played many games. But he's only played 5 games and started only 2 of them. And Ben Godfrey, I'll just have a quick look at it, and then that completes Everton's defence, doesn't it? Ben Godfrey, so far, he's at 6.7 from 9 games, so it puts him the best. James the best right back, then Godfrey, then the other 2.
That's right.
Not much between them, is there? So it's mad, isn't it? Because a lot of people, I imagine, would have just said it's Michalenko or it's Branthwaite. I think very few people would have said it's Tarkowski.
True.
And again, there's a lot of nuances go into it.
Of course.
But when you look at it and you go, out of those players who people automatically say, Tarkowski,
you wouldn't get
be
much
the least.
dissent like you didn't from me when you raise and there's talk. Oh, you go, yes, of course. You take him for granted.
All right, then.
There's consistency.
So all right, well, let's play the game. Let's play the sofa score game.
Ooh.
All right. So midfield players then.
Yeah.
Who would you say? Just think about the games you've seen every game, John. But who would you say, off the top of your head, has been Everton's most consistent midfield performer?
Consistent.
Well, who's been Everton's best midfielder this season?
Ganagay.
Idrissa.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you right now.
I bet your Onana's over 7.
Okay. Idrissa Ganagay, 6.91.
Well, there you go. So
18 games, started 17 of them.
So he had a month out, sort of thing. But there you go. Straight away, I've changed my mind. It's Onana now.
All right. So
I think Onana will have a higher.
I'm going to do Onana.
Be 7 point something.
7.11.
Okay, cool.
From 22 games
so
started.
James Garner,
18.
Now.
So James Garner is.
Surprise everyone.
This is all by SofaScore, by the way. James Garner, 7.17.
Wow. So James Garner then. Borderline with Onana, but still scoring better.
And yet people would say
Dwight McNeil 8.9. No,
Dwight McNeil 7.18.
Isn't that surprising? Does that make Ganagay 3rd? I can't remember what you said. Garner.
4th.
Ganner.
So he would be the weakest out of those 4.
Wow, isn't that a surprise?
Which is crazy in my opinion.
Good job. Ped's not in. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. In that, it depends. I mean, it depends what stock you put in that. Of course.
And if all the players have been in and out, which teams they played against and all that.
Oh, of course.
And what the Rangers is interesting.
And Jack Harrison, 6.8.
Yeah. Because the issue is, it's all well and good saying this guy's 7.11 and this guy's 7.2. But if this guy's in a range of 6 to 9 and the other guy's in a range of 6.9 to 7.2, then it's consistency.
And there's also, of course,
it needs a consistency rating, doesn't it?
The problem with things
stats.
Like SofaScore or stats as well, of course, and this is the caveat, is goals massively skew
of course
people's performance.
If you get a goal.
So people could say, well, Jack Harrison's been much worse then. He's got 3 goals and he's got 3 assists, so therefore his ratings are up.
Okay.
So Dwight McNeil, who's got 7.18, has got 2 goals and has got 5 assists, so that massively skewers his score, whereas a consistency rating, people would turn around and go,
see, what I like on the
he's been much
thing,
much less, much worse.
What I like on the SofaScore thing, if you look at it, is the little graph thing that you get. So if you look at Jack Harrison, it says his average rating, 6.72. The last time he got 6.72 or better, according to the little graph thing, was back in September. And
he will have got, because that's when he had Bournemouth and stuff.
Yeah, so the point is, he must have had a number of really good performances, and in recent times, it's been, basically less than that. Yeah. So his average will decline, and what fans see, isn't it, is current performances and current perceptions.
Oh, of course.
The last 3 or 4 games, he's done this, that, and the other. change when you turn it around. No, it doesn't. You know, so his last performance was 6'6". You know, and that's not a huge drop from 6'72", is it?
But he has dipped, hasn't he?
But the eyes have it. The eyes have it, so to speak.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and of course, you're talking about the algorithm about value. His value's fallen off a cliff as well because of that.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you're looking and going, well, with my eyes, he's not been very good, or he's not been very good, or whatever, and it just shows you that someone who's rating it independently, allegedly. Allegedly, yeah. But I mean,
but they've got an algorithm that works stuff out, and
exactly.
You know, the relative performance of each of the players, if it's done statistically, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. But if one player has got a higher number than another player, then according to the method, they've had a better season. Yeah.
Well, onto our strikers. I mean, Beto is at 6.74.
Okay. So DCL will be better.
So
than
23 appearances. We only started 7 games, and his minutes per game
is not bad, is it? 674.
Minutes per game are only 33.
Like IMDb, this, isn't it? If it was 674, you'd watch it.
There you go. He's got 2 goals from an XG of 4.75, though, and that tells a story, really.
The DCL will be better than that one.
I've got Dom up now, yeah. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so he's on a different one. Right, Dom's at 6.80.
Okay, so
marginally better overall, but he started 19 of 24 games as opposed to Beto. He's got 3 goals from an XG of 9.26.
Okay, so if you're playing this game, because you've called it the Sofa Score game,
go on.
Tell me what you think Haaland's rating is. Don't look it up.
I won't. I'm still on Dom.
Oh, okay.
6.96.
Obviously led the way. 7.24.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say over 7.
So you're talking about the difference between an average, in quotes, striker who can't score to save his life, DCL,
yeah,
and the guy who allegedly scores for fun, albeit we know he's gone through a bit of a barren patch for him.
Well, we all know that
is not huge,
but we know that the conversion rates are basically the same.
Yeah,
they're both at 8%. I think right. Calvert-Lewin, Haaland, and Beto have got the 3 apparently. I've got the 3 worst conversion rates in the Premier League.
It's just that he gets a lot more.
It's just that he gets more opportunities and scores goals. So it's an interesting game to play. It was just something different I wanted to speak about today. A little bit of football. Is that just off the top of your head when you're looking, you go, he's my player of the season. How does that tally up with what someone who is scoring their performances independently, if you like?
And I have to say that our eyes seem to be supported by the statty stuff, doesn't it?
They do, but also I would say Dwight McNeil, I think, has been shocking of late, and his rating's quite high, and Jack Harrison.
But if you look at it, because I was obviously just looked at Haaland, I think that's a rating over the last 12 months, isn't it?
The rating over the last 12 months, 7.22. His rating this season, 7.18.
So the drop-off's more than that, isn't it?
But again, like I say, to skewer it, assists and goals skewer a actual performance, but then that's what you're asking for, aren't you? Yeah. They're key metrics, aren't they?
Yeah.
But people who say Amadou Onana's terrible, he's basically very similar to James Garner. And that kind of supports what we've said, is that when those 2 play in the game, as Everton's midfield, they both want to do the same part of the pitch.
Well, so it's one or the other.
Exactly, really. So it has to be one or the other. So it's just interesting.
I just looked at Decore because we missed him out.
Oh, yeah.
687.
687, and he's a key player. So, listen, ideally...
His last game, 6.3.
Yeah, he was poor on that one.
So,
yeah.
Interesting, though. Interesting.
Just a bit of fun to turn the dial a little bit back to...
so we don't have to talk about PSR.
Towards football. Well, I just think there's just been too much PSR and too much points, hasn't there? So I just thought a little bit of football with a little bit of an interesting take on it. That why not discuss it? Because I love having a look at the stats as well and go, oh, well, are my eyes deceiving me here or whatever? But it's good to just have a little
song
bit
with
of
those words in
it. I mean, a few people saying I give it to Pickford. No one deserves it this year.
Someone always deserves it.
Mikalenko's shooting stats are better than Dom. Tarkovsky, pro dreamer. Tarkovsky's played well and helped Brandtwait develop at the same. Yeah, definitely.
So Jordan Pickford's at 7.05. so he won't have the highest rating in the team.
Steve says, please, SofaScore rate values mean nothing. No, but the creator from something, aren't they? It's like anything. You can use SofaScore, you can use Who Scored, probably. You can use any of these kind of apps.
If you look at this, mate, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
It's a shame people can't see it. Well, if you've got the app, go and have a look at Pickford and you'll see what I'm showing. I looked at Decore, and the last time he had a rating in a game of 7 or higher was December. Right? These green ones are the 7s. Yeah. Look at Pickford. He's full of them. Right?
And yeah, people will say he hasn't played well.
So, you know, his SofaScore for the Man United game was 8.3, which is surprising. That, of course, it's a bit like, sorry, I'm going to do it. It's like PSR, isn't it? Right? The mitigation for him is all the good saves he made. The aggravation is, some of them goals, mate, perhaps you should have saved them, type of thing. I mean, United, not Man United particularly, in general,
because you do penalties, weren't he?
Yeah, but
Tarkovsky.
in general, we see him. He does give up goals. You think a player of this high average, if you like, should be doing better with some of them.
Tarkovsky on Who Scored is 7.07, so less than what SofaScore have. But let's have a look at Branthwaite.
It's a relativity thing, isn't it?
Oh, we've got it. Yeah. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it, to have a look and go, well, we'll have these. Yeah, well, Branthwaite on Who Scored is 6.88, and he was above. Yeah. He was above 7 on SofaScore. So these are slightly different and lower. Mikalenko, 6.89.
This is interesting.
On there, let's have a look at Dwight McNeil on here then. Go on, mate.
If you do the, we lost to United, and then we went on a run of winning.
McNeil 6.95.
We lost to United. Yeah, we went on a run of 4 games winning.
Yeah.
Oh, that was something we used to do, isn't it? Winning. So when we lost home to United, Pickford was 6.5, and then we won 4 on the bounce. 7.2, 7.6, 7.6, 7.3.
Because you got a couple of clean sheets in there.
Yeah, and that's obviously it's skewed with, well, they're all clean sheets, aren't they?
6.7809.
So all the numbers. We should ask SofaScore to tell us how the algorithm works, and if it's a keeper, how big an influence clean sheets have, for example.
Yeah. It's just a guide, isn't it? Listen, they're all like we've just done it there, and so Who Scored scores.
Who's the best goalie in the league then?
Alisson, probably.
So Jordan's at 7.05. I'm going to look at him. Funny, and it's 2 best goalies in this league. Neither of them played for Brazil the other night. Yeah.
Well, both injured. That's why.
What's his real name? Because Becker, is it?
Alisson Becker is his real name.
Find him with Alisson. We can find him with Becker.
Right, a few of the comments.
Good.
Did you see Jeff Stelling pathetic comments on Branthwaite for 45 million?
No.
Yeah, he did say that. Yes, he said I think 45 million will get him.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he know?
Everton just have to be strong with that. He's got a new contract. He's playing well. He's in his age. He's now an international. Or he may well become an international tonight. So Everton should be like, yeah, nice one, Ken. Everton should be like, right, okay, 100 million. That's big.
7 Becker.
So better than Pickford.
Just.
Depends how you look at it, doesn't
get as much practice, though.
No, I know which one I'd have told me.
The rating of players is an interesting one because, well, you said what SofaScore think his rating is. If you go on, some of the other platforms, Transfermarkt, whatever you choose, they'll all be less than he really goes for because the attempts are objective rate.
Of course, yeah.
And actually, if Everton won't accept less than X, then he won't go for less than X, will he? So it's how much you're prepared to pay.
It's just a bit of fun to look at it something differently, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's just the way. That's the way to do it, isn't it? We could sit here and go, yeah, this is good, he's the best, he's crap, he's this, he's that. And then that's fine, that's all opinion based on what your eyes. And some plays you give a little pass to, and other plays you're on them the minute they make something because you mightn't think they're whatever. And the reality is it's somewhere in the middle always, isn't it? Players always go out to do the best every week. No footballer, I don't imagine, anywhere at any level or if there is, because you never say none of them because you never know someone's
And they're falling
mindset.
out with the manager.
But in general, they all go out to perform, don't
as
they?
best they can.
Because you want the plaudits. Footballers, like, I've got egos, everyone. You all want to be, even doesn't matter what team you play in. Sunday League, you want to come off and everyone goes,
Good game,
you
lad.
won us the game there,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
brilliant today. Let's have a pint to John because he was the best on it. You all want to feel like that, whatever level you get. So when you get to the top level, how do you think Ronaldo does it? I think Ronaldo has still got no body fat on him and all that because he wants people to laud it. He wants to still be going, I'm 40 and I'm still scoring 30 goals. So he don't care what league I'm in. They've all got that. So every week they want to perform. Us as fans expect when we sit down to see a perfect performance every time from a player. And what I mean by perfect performance is them to play to the best of their ability. And if they don't, if we like the player, they get a pass. And if we perceive the player as not to be good enough for our team, we're on them no matter what they do. That's just human nature.
But the basic that they want is they want to play. They want to be on the starting 11. That's why they get the ump when they're not, or when they're taken off, even if you're Kevin De Bruyne and all that sort of stuff. And that's why Pep, in his little masterclass, or whenever it was, 2-3 years ago, just simply said, if they don't work hard, they don't play. I don't care who they are. There's my standard, you know, and that requires you to work hard.
Yeah.
Have all the talents in the world, but you have to work hard.
Exactly.
So Zach needs to know that sometimes,
He doesn't, mate. Took him off on Sunday. To shake him up.
You're a brutal manager.
He come back on and scored a few minutes later, so it's you've got to shake them up, haven't you?
Yeah.
Jez and Gary said, Hardy. Jez saw the title of this daily and did a small guffaw. That's it. That's the message.
That's it.
Toffees, Potts so far.
Potts.
I mean, player of the season, obviously.
He can't even hear you because he's playing a game.
That's okay. Steve says it's easily Branthwaite for me. I know Michalenko's improved a lot and been steady, but he hasn't been amazing, let's be honest. I know the bar's low, but he's still very poor going forward. If someone is as limited as that is your player of the season, then you've got a serious problem. Well, we have, Steve. We're in a relegation battle for the third year running, and let's not try to kid ourselves, because I think we have done.
I think he means we have a serious problem thinking he might be the player of the season.
No, I think he means the football club. I think the issue we've all fallen into, and I'm part of it, is using the points as the reason why we're in trouble. Those points got taken off us. You can dress that up and go, but if we didn't have them, we wouldn't. Well, we still would, because we'd still be catchable. We're in the predicament we're in because we haven't won a game of football for 4 months. If we'd have done our job, even relatively speaking, and won one every 3 or one every 4, we wouldn't be in this mess that we're in now. So when we're saying Michalenko's the player of the year and you're using all of them reasons why that can't be, that kind of probably shows you where we are as a team. Good teams finish higher up, bad teams finish near the bottom. Good managers drag poor teams into the top bit. Poor managers drag better teams into the bottom bit. And average managers have you somewhere in the middle.
And Michalenko is playing well with the wing back, if you want to call him that, in front of him, who's having a really poor season.
Yeah, McNeil for me has been dreadful.
So, that makes Michalenko's situation harder, and he's still performing in the top 3.
Mark Zobel, who does our... Oh, hang on, sorry, Steve, I haven't finished your thing. I'll come back to you now, Mark. Branthwaite is literally being linked to the biggest clubs in the world and has been called up to play for England and will most likely leave for 80 million. He's the best young defender in the league this season. No one's looked at Michalenko and said, wow. No, I know, but if Branthwaite, and again, I'm not talking Jared Branthwaite down because we both said he's been great. If Jared Branthwaite was Ukrainian, he wouldn't be getting half the attention he's getting right now. That's just a fact. To me, that's just an absolute fact. Because he's English and he's young and people like the look of him, he's getting talked up way more than probably what he would be with anyone else. That being said, Branthwaite's been really good. Really good. That's why we said Michalenko and Branthwaite. Tarkovsky's been the best of the 3.
I don't know.
It's the fact, really.
I don't know how to say the Palace centre-back's surname.
Gay.
Yeah, but he's English. And he's not getting talked up.
He was last season. Yeah. He was getting talked up. He was off to United last summer for 85 million.
There you go.
And he still plays for Crystal Palace.
That's right, yeah.
So, English players get talked up crazy.
Is that the premium on English?
Anthony Gordon.
Premium on left-backs, isn't there, as well? Sorry, left-backs, left-footed.
Left-footed centre-backs stand out like a sore thumb because there isn't any.
There's not many of them, yeah.
And therefore, that's not saying Branthwaite hasn't been really good, because he has. We know he has. But Tarkowski's probably been the best of the three, really. And then if you look at actual data, it says, yeah, he's been the best of the three. And so you go, okay. But Branthwaite should get more kudos, because he's come into the team this season. He's never had this run of games. And he's looked like he's always played.
Do you think he should have become a starter before he did?
He should have started day one. There was not.
I know the answer, which is why I'm asking you. So
Dice can say, "Oh, we come back and he had the Euros," but he was on the bench. He was ready to play. He just went with Michael Keane, and he went with Michael Keane. Now, if Everton wouldn't have got pumped at Villa 4-0, Branthwaite wouldn't have got in the team. If Everton had beat Fulham like they should have done, say we'd have got beat 2 or 3-0 at Villa, and then we played Wolves at home the week later, Branthwaite wouldn't have been in that starting 11.
Mad, isn't it?
Branthwaite only got in because Michael Keane had a bit of a nightmare.
It became
and Evertonians wanted Branthwaite in.
Yeah, it became
and therefore the manager, he might have a different opinion, say we were always doing it, but I got no indication that he was always doing it, because he would have played him. James Garner won the Euros with England and started on day one.
Well, he was the antidote to the claim.
Yeah, if Garner and Branthwaite wouldn't have been involved for the first couple, then the manager would have been consistent.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
I haven't played the pair of them because they come back late.
Michael Keane, 684 on SofaScore.
Yeah, exactly. Not terrible, but Evertonians wouldn't have Michael Keane in the team because they don't think he's played well enough this season. So it's all, listen, I'm not arguing against you here, Steve, by the way. Everything you've said about Branthwaite is correct, but Mark says here's some player ratings. This is Ped's average highest ratings this season.
But someone's done this. No.
Mark does it for us. He creates the man of the match and everything
cool,
on Premier. Okay. You can go and vote on Premier after the game. Mark collates it all. Yeah, he's brilliant. Branthwaite 7.27, Pickford 7.10, Tarkowski 7.07, Michalenko 7.01, Garner 6.97.
So just the four of them who we discussed have got 7 upwards, and they're Ped's
numbers. They're Ped's.
Okay. What's Dwight McNeil on that then? Ped having a bit of a blind spot there. Yeah.
He must be less than those.
Oh, you haven't got
He's just giving me the top 5.
Oh, okay.
Adam says, am I going mad over yesterday's Daily Live more than again the exact same video? You're going mad, I think.
Unless Ned's put them both out once, out twice. Yeah. The shirts would be a clue, wouldn't they? The background would be a clue.
Josh says, afternoon, guys. Baz, would you eat 38 orange clubs if it meant we won all 38 games next season? 100%. Means I'd throw up 38 times.
Like one after the other, would you have to do it?
No, I think one a week. I don't know. 38 in one day, in one sitting, I don't think I'd physically be able to do it. I'd throw up after one.
So you put your own selfish needs.
I just don't think I could get it down, I don't think I could eat it. I'd eat 38 through the year if it meant Everton won it. Absolutely. But
we'd all know if we lost that you forgot to eat.
Yeah. Well, I'd do it live so people could remind me and then watch me as I have to go over there to throw up into a bucket. But there you go.
Do you not like them?
Even me talking about it now has made me start to feel like I could throw up. Wow. I had one when I was sick, when I was about 6, and then I threw up immediately, and that's destroyed me. And now I can't even. My missus got them last year sometime and hid them out the way, and I moved something in the cupboard and I seen them, and I honestly could have gone and thrown it. It's dead weird. It's dead weird because I can eat like a piece of Terry chocolate orange, not many of them, but I can eat a couple of them. And I like
oranges or slices.
I like orange. I like orange, and I like chocolate. And when the orange swirl was out, I could eat like one, and I couldn't eat the both. So
maybe
bars.
It's the biscuity bit that you can't.
It's it's the whole thing.
Is it? All right.
Together. Probably like it. No, I wouldn't, mate. I wouldn't. Trust me, honestly.
Shall I give
smell.
It now, Ned?
Graham says it. At least the weather's better today. Correct.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Like Martin says, sorry to bring it up. Several media saying the charge for 22-23. This charge is for 22-23. Isn't it the last 3 years? Also, will we actually see the accounts for 22-23 at this point? Can't keep it for BWB. Well, we can answer it, Martin. What it is everything's in a 3-year cycle.
They call the reporting period by the last year.
So 21 Yeah, you're right. So it's 21, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23. That's it. Everton have all, because 19, 20, which was on the 10 points charge, if we want to call it that, has gone.
Falls off.
And that's replaced by 22, 23. Yeah, Everton's argument is, and this is where the double jeopardy, even though it's not the right phrase, but that phrase has come in, is that Everton have already been punished for 2021 and 21-22. So when you plant 22-23 on it, Everton are saying, well, hang on, you're looking at that reporting period, but you've already done us in the last charge for those 2 years. Why should we be considered for it another one this time? Because how could we have cleared those 2 years?
We can't fix things.
We can't go back. It's done, and you've already punished us for it. Yeah. So that's where we're up to. Matthew Barry says, "Hi, all. Hope you're well."
The accounts will come out when the club have to give them to us, which is legally in April.
Matthew says, Tarkovsky player of the season for me, 7 out of 10 for the majority of the season, and has brought Branthwaite through too. Close second is Michalenko, developed every season. Yeah, good logic. Good logic. Martin says, Jared Branthwaite for me shows what player development can bring. Some first-team games followed by a season loan really gives you a result if the player can make it. Kev Murphy says, I agree with a few comments saying no one deserves it, but at the moment I thought Tarks was solid at the beginning, but he fell off. I do think Micho's the most improved player and happy for him. But it's clear we miss Garner when he's not in the side. We do, and yeah, his stats aren't amazing, but we know that he makes such a difference.
Makes others play as well.
Mark Max says, I've never been a big fan of 3 at the back, but if you look at the type of players we have, is there a case for a back 3? Tarky, Jared and Micho.
Yes.
Wing backs of Patterson and McNeil and 2 up top. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Paul doesn't think Branthwaite will start tonight. You might be right, mate. I don't know. I imagine he'll get on the pitch, and if he doesn't, Southgate should be sacked really then. Steve Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you both well. I think this weekend is a must win, personally, for the confidence of the players and fans. Need the core of last season to get back to that form when he's on. And when he's on it, we usually win. How do you see Saturday? A must win?
Must not lose.
Must not lose. Okay.
I'd be more than happy for a win. I'll go and paddle in the sea the day after if we win. Actually, no, I think we're coming home on Saturday. We're going Friday. Staying over Friday, not Saturday. So yeah. But yeah, it's defo not losing. If we win, I think this is where Steve's coming from. It would make a massive difference, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it were, I think if Everton,
I'm petrified of 3 home games in April.
Are you?
Yeah, just because the poor home performance.
And one's a Merseyside derby, which is not great.
Yeah.
It's always a difficult one because you look at those 3 home games and you go, win 2 of them, we're buzzing. I remember
win the first one and they'll roll.
Well,
forward.
It sets on, yeah. Well, I remember 1995, so we were going to the FA Cup final, and we were still in. We hadn't secured our Premier League survival, and we had Southampton, we had Wimbledon, Chelsea, and Southampton all at home at Goodison in a week, and everyone was looking to them games, going,
sorted.
We'll win 3 of them's great, but we'll win 2 of them, and that's we get 7 points out of 9. We're home and hosed. We played Wimbledon at home on the Saturday, drew 0-0. So then we went into Chelsea, and bear in mind this is Chelsea who were average, not Chelsea now. What you think? I know Chelsea are average this season, but in general, this is Chelsea before anything's popped.
Traditional Chelsea.
So it was essentially Crystal Palace, say.
Yeah, traditional.
And we drew 3-3 on the Wednesday night. Amo scored a cracker. Paul Furlong was laying by Neville Southall as Chelsea come on the attack there for 48 yards offside. Got up, the cross coming, he headed it in, and the referee gave it. We drew 3-3, and then we played Southampton on the weekend, and we draw 0-0. So we had the 3 home games, didn't win any of them. Therefore, we had to go to Ipswich, and we won 1-0 at Ipswich, and that was it. We were safe. Yeah. But you look at them games, and in your mind, you're obviously best case scenario. If Everton were to get 6 points out of 9 from those 3 games, we'd be fine.
Beat Forest
for the season. Beat Forest, yeah. Beat Brentford, they were around us, and then the Liverpool game's a flip of a coin. Who knows? Their pressure might be on them.
But, if you're speaking with the person who can change the future, you'd say, well, I'll beat Forest. Just tell me what the price is. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah,
because it's about, and then don't lose at Luton type of thing. You know what I mean? And that's why the Brentford one becomes
Brentford,
yeah.
Brentford are in trouble, aren't they?
Because we beat Brentford and they get dragged down. I don't know if they're playing the other clubs. I need to check, but it makes all those games.
They're playing Luton.
There you go. So it makes those games more heightened, doesn't it?
Well, at the weekend, right? So the league table at the moment, there's a point between us. Yeah. That Brentford are at home to Manchester United at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. If Everton could go and win at Bournemouth,
There's
and
that if word again.
Well, it is, but Steve just said it.
But
so
he's right, yeah.
If Everton were to win on Saturday at Bournemouth with 2 points,
Brentford lose
with 2 points ahead of Brentford, and then Manchester United who need to win
to get back above us. Yeah.
United need to win for top 4 or 5, but Brentford would have to beat them. And if Brentford come out of that, another home game without a win, then they're 2 points behind Everton all of a sudden. And then they've got Brighton at home. We go to Chelsea, it's not great. But sorry, we go to Newcastle, which is tough. But they've got Brighton at home. Okay, they could batter Brighton, we don't know. Brighton could, depends what Brighton turns up, but it's Brighton out of Europe now. So they're going to try and put a run together to get back in.
Remember in this little cycle, we'd have a game in hand. And we say that's the derby. So you get yourself into the derby as a free hit. Yeah?
Almost, yeah. Well, Brentford have got Man United at home, Brighton at home. Then they've got Villa away. So they're the next. They're kind of like the next 3.
Then Sheffield then at home.
Sheffield United at home. So there's a win. Luton away is a tough one. Then Everton, then Fulham, then Bournemouth, then Newcastle.
April is a defining month.
Exactly. And I'm saying Brentford, but I actually think Brentford will be fine. I do. I think they'll be fine because I think Ivan Toney will get 3 or 4 goals, and it'll be key goals that keep them up. But you're trying to keep them involved, aren't you? If Everton were to beat Bournemouth, don't forget, then all of a sudden
Palace.
We're in. Yeah, but Bournemouth at the moment are on 35 points. Everton win, we're on 28. Now, Bournemouth are clearly nowhere near Bournemouth. Yeah. But you're just closing gaps on people, aren't you? And you're looking and going, right, we're going to put pressure on everybody else around us because that's how we have to do it. A win at Bournemouth would be big for Everton because...
Be huge.
No, but it would be because we're just
monkey off your back winning games.
Exactly, you win a game of football. You put them into, you other teams are probably looking and thinking probably fancy Bournemouth there. Luton go to Spurs at the weekend. So if Everton were to win, then we're on 28 points. We're 6 ahead of Luton. Level games then. Sorry, and if Luton were to lose, we still got the game in hand, and Luton are 6 points behind us now. And that's what we have to do. Put that bit of space between us. Forest have got. I think Forest are at home, aren't they, at the weekend? Nottingham Forest have got Crystal Palace on Saturday.
Depends which one.
Depends which Crystal Palace turn up. But Palace, Everton. If Forest are to draw with Palace and Everton won at Bournemouth, there's 2 points between Everton and Palace again. And you're making sure other teams are involved in it. And that's what we have to do. Whereas if we go to Bournemouth and get beat, Forest beat Palace, all of that, you're in that. And then you're going to Newcastle straight away. It's like, we're in big trouble here. Because there's going to be games that we just simply have to win.
And
the pressure becomes too much. And that's why I'm saying... we're in trouble, mainly because we haven't won games.
Yeah.
So, Phil says we might need to put another run of wins together to absorb the points deduction. I think we will need to put a run of wins together in fairness. But Nathan says he misses the days of good crosses and good headers. Yeah. Scott says, could Forest end up getting a higher points deduction in their appeal?
The way the rules work, it's possible.
I mean, I don't know. There was something yesterday that said Forest have been told they won't risk it.
That was Sky.
Yeah, Sky. I mean, that's nonsense. What that'll be? That'll just be someone's opinion. Sky will have gone to that Stefan fella probably.
No, I think it's probably the KC. So, and don't forget they used the phrase, it's unlikely. I don't know, you can do unlikely because there's in recent times, just to avoid the fact that there may have been one in the past, there's only been one appeal. And it didn't result, and it did result in a reduction in points. It didn't result in an increase in points. If you do the mechanics around unlikely, if the appeal reasons are granted, in other words, at the beginning of the appeal board, they say, these are the reasons you want to appeal, and I'm the judge, and I think they're reasonable, so let's do the appeal, rather than go away, you're wasting my time, then it's unlikely it'll go up, isn't it? Because they're valid reasons for appeal.
Yeah.
But you know, a club that got points deducted and then some given back because they were very helpful. I don't know how consistent appealing is. I don't know how consistent sending a very damning public letter out is, and so on. So, but I think it's interesting. It's on the Premier League. I mean, I tweeted it last night. The Premier League, why didn't they appeal themselves? Because they want it finished. And that is a chink in the Premier League's armour. They want it finished. And both Forest and Everton should seek to exploit that. But Everton presumably now want to be the last ones to go to court, so they know what's happened before. So on the basis that Forest have appealed, unless Everton get told no case to answer, jog on, we're going to appeal. It's mad.
Like
This is the whole Premier League got itself into.
Last three things. Dan says Rodri's averaging 8, making him the best player in the league. And surprisingly, Pascal Gross is 5th with a 7.69. He's had a good season though for Brighton. Scored a lot of goals, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Nick Tube says, evening lads, Aston Villa fan here. I wish my team had a channel like yours. It's addictive. Well done, lads. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As someone says, I wish we had a team like yours. So enjoy your team, but nice one, Nick. And this one is a little bit of a sadder one, but Emma says, hey fellas, it's my dad's funeral tomorrow. He's having Nessun Dorma from Italian 90 when football was good. He said, what an absolute anthem that is. It'll be sad, but also awesome for you. That great memories of watching Scorio with him on S4C as a kid. Hope everything goes well tomorrow, Emma, for him and for you, obviously.
Definitely.
So yeah, right, we're done. There's video at 2 o'clock on MTAG, so stay there. It's good. Patrick Rich discussing. What's he discussing? Oh, the 2024 squad.
Ooh,
so make sure you watch it.
It. Oh, you'll have to watch it to find out.
Go and watch it. It's all about Brantwaite as well. So go and watch that. Yeah. Stay where you are. You have to do anything.
Harry?
You don't have to do
Harry, Alfie,
anything.
Paddy.
They're good guys, aren't they? They know their stuff. Yeah.
They are. So
Stato Central, they are.
yeah, you like your stats. Stick around and see who they pick.
Smash it.
Like the video, subscribe if you haven't to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Take care.